All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning or good evening, depending on where you're looking at this and when you're looking at this. No matter what, I want to say it's great to see you. We have some really great topics that you've voted on and selected for today, and a new format too. So I got a little piece of Apollo's hair when I gave him a kiss there. So this is an all new format that I kind of tested out last week. We're going to begin it with a weekly forecast. So look at the next 7 days, since I'm doing these every Sunday. And then we'll go into two bigger topics, which you selected and voted on a little bit earlier, and I'll talk about that. And I'd also like to touch upon the elements, not go too deep in it because I like to keep these collective, but I will pull 4 cards looking at earth, air, water, and fire. And just to kind of let you know which topics that we selected today. It was very close, by the way, but we'll be looking at how to reach the finish line for some of you that might be having a difficult time in either completing something that you started or getting motivated, because we'll be looking at motivation with that. And then also lost and found. For those of you in your life where you feel like maybe you've just given a lot to someone or to a bigger cause, this is a way to regain your own sort of sense of self. And so those two kind of go together nicely. Let me put Apollo down and we'll talk some more about that. By the way that the voting works is anybody that is a member or a patron, they get to vote twice, and then everyone else that's a subscriber and opts into the bell notifications can vote once. So I think only about 2,000 people voted in total. There's definitely a lot more that can. So if you want to, please do that. Every vote counts. Okay. It's a way for me to give back to the most active and the most supportive people. I want to say special thanks to, again, all those folks with green text there. You guys helped me make this all possible. Those are my channel members, and I appreciate you. All right, so if you're brand new, you're in for a treat today. The way my collectives work is everybody that's present is going to get a message. And like I said, the format is fresh and it's kind of evolving. So feel free to give me some feedback. I think we've got something cool here that we can work with. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And we're going to, in addition to everything that I talked about, have a meditation and then a final question that you can ask me by meditating on it. And then I'll pull sort of like a collective card for that as well. So there's a lot here today to look at. And let me just make a couple of notes and then we'll get straight into the messages. I have 2 moderators today, both Maria and Dakota. They're here to answer any questions that you might have. If you want to show support, you can do that by using SuperSticker, Super Chat. What I'll do is at the very end of this, I will pull up a kind of a window where I can see who's given, and I'll say thank you. I'm going to hold it until the end. I took some feedback from those of you that said you'd prefer it that way. So stick around until the end, and I'll say thank you personally. I do appreciate it. People like Tony that just did that. Again, at the very end, I will say thanks. And if you want to help out on the replay, you can use this button here, thanks, literally, right by share. It's a great way for me to continue to buy cards and to do more things like this. It's optional, so do it if you like, and if you can't, just consider liking and subscribing, because when you do that, you get a chance to vote. And if you don't want to miss any of my polls, please click the bell icon as well. All right, let's get into your messages for today. So I start every reading off that I do, whether it's a collective or an individual reading, by tapping into spirit using clairvoyance, clairaudience, my dreams, automatic writing, basically just me connecting with spirit in all the different ways that I do that. So today, one of the things that came to me, and it came when I was walking the dog and I thought, I can't get this out of my head, was to tap into the energy of bees and kind of relate that to today. And I'm going to show you a little video that I took while I was walking Apollo this morning, looking at some lovely pollinators here on a cactus that was one of my neighbor's houses outside. And look at all those bees. There's a ton of them. And there was about 3 or 4 different flowers that had all these bees around it. I had to stand back and basically put the 2.5x zoom on for this. Again, a beautiful white flower. I think they bloomed overnight, and the bees were super happy. I just seen them basically after they opened up. So what a lovely sight. What a powerful sort of energy there too. Lots of teamwork, lots of really positive energy. When I look at something like a bee pollinating, it shows me that if there's something that you want to focus on right here and right now, there's a capacity to really see things move. And it has that chance to kind of disperse like we would see in the world card. So there's definitely outreach possibility for you. So it is the honeybee, to be specific. We've talked about the bumblebee before, and they are different. The bumblebee is a lot bigger. It's kind of fuzzy. And that's kind of like a feat of nature, because it shouldn't be able to fly, but it can. Honeybees are different, and we're going to focus on a couple of different aspects of them that I discovered in my research after I got back this morning and started to look at stuff. I always like to find something unique that I didn't know or that we haven't covered before. And let me see, I think I pulled some pictures up here on the web. I was not aware that bees have 5 eyes. Maybe for those of you that might be more sort of skilled in biology, you might have known that. I knew they had the 2 compound eyes, but believe it or not, they actually have 5 eyes. Let me kind of zoom in here on this picture. You can see if you look real close, right above, you'll see 3 little eyes. Oops. I think I lost it here. Here, this one shows it a little bit better. You can see the 3 smaller simple eyes in addition to the compound eyes. So to me, that was fascinating. And I wanted to know, what do those extra eyes do? And what is this all about for us today? So let's talk about it. So I guess these are called like ocelli, like oculus. So basically little tiny eyes. They're simple, which means that they're not going to process as much information as the 2 main eyes. Sometimes you just see light, sometimes you see shadows, sometimes other things. So basically what I found out is that they assist with solar navigation. They trace the position of the sun and how much brightness there is, and that helps them kind of like as an extra GPS. So they can see around them using the compound eyes, and then they can kind of tell what time it is and where they're at based on where the sun is in the sky. Like, amazing, right? This little tiny insect has a really big sort of visual spectrum and uses different things like the light, basically the sun and the amount of light to decide like what they should be doing at that point of the day. It's a little clock, basically. The compound eyes, like ours, can see multiple colors, but they don't see red. They see blue, green, and ultraviolet. And basically what this allows to happen is like flowers can code their sort of like the shapes and patterns to attract a pollinator, while maybe this is invisible to the rest of us, to other animals, to other insects that can't see in the ultraviolet. So what we're seeing here is multiple types of cues coming through visually, and things that might be missed or things that might be perceived by different types of people. So when we kind of overlap this in your life, everybody has a different instinct. Just like I can hear and see different things, and with my friends that are intuitives, they can hear and see different things in different ways. You want to be open to the different perspectives in your life. Your experience is singular, it's unique, but it is not exclusive, and it's not the only thing out there. So we have to open ourselves up to the fact that, you know, perception is very sometimes, it's in this sort of, it's in a lens, almost like horses have blinders. What we would be doing this month is taking the blinders off, looking in the periphery, looking up, looking down, and listening, using all the senses. So this kind of also goes down to hope and faith, and then again, maybe ignorance on some levels. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Doesn't mean that it's impossible. And this is what faith is all about. This is why a lot of what I do in metaphysics is misunderstood by the masses, because they haven't yet figured out or experienced it for themselves. I had my awakening a little bit later in life too. You know, it was maybe around 2008, 2009. But yeah, so I was already into my career. I'd gone to school. You know, I'd experienced a good chunk of life, and then all of a sudden this other part started to awaken. And I thought, well, I guess, you know, the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland, it went a lot deeper than I thought. And instead of fighting it, I just thought, well, let's explore. Let's see where this leads. And I think curiosity, you can have a little bit of caution there, but like, be open to new things, and you might be surprised. Allow yourself to be surprised, to be pleasantly surprised by something. If you discount a possibility before it happens, then that basically, it's not even scientific. The scientific method is just like, let's see what happens. Like, maybe I need some proof. Let's keep trying things. But you wouldn't say it's impossible, nor would you simply say something is the only way. Be curious. Be sort of scientific about it if you would like, but definitely be open. Because if you're not open, you'll never discover new things. We would still think the world was flat and everything revolved around the earth. So let's stay open. Please, no flat earth comments. So basically, that's kind of what I'm getting at, is keep your mind open. All right. Have faith, consider other perspectives, and this is going to serve you well. So the 3 eyes, by the way, they kind of reminded me of being in the position of the 3rd eye too. So you may be picking up on multiple frequencies this month, and I think it's really important for you just to stay open, all right? So maybe you have kids and they want to sort of do something different than you imagined. Maybe you are that child and your parent doesn't understand you, or your parents don't understand you. Maybe you're in a job where it feels like there's only one way to do it. And we're going to get into that in a second. I definitely got Hierophant energy when I tuned into the bee in the hive, right? So we'll talk about that next. So bees are organized possibly to a fault. They're very hardworking. Each knows their role and they perform it to perfection because it's basically been ingrained in their sort of DNA, right? So you may be sort of faced with a bureaucracy or some sort of a hierarchy that you have to jump through this month. So it's basically the Hierophant or Hierophant-like energy. The cool thing with the Hierophant is it also can indicate leadership or the ability for other people to come to you to create structure. So the Hierophant isn't necessarily a bad card, but it can definitely show that there are gatekeepers, there are blocks, there are people that you might have to navigate around. And yeah, I've been there. It's challenging, especially if you're in a big company. These are people that, sign off on whether or not you can buy a stapler or decide, how much you can spend on, office equipment and stuff like that, even though you might know exactly what's necessary. Teamwork is key. The fact that we're seeing all of the bees working together, it's a clear indication that teamwork is going to be vital in getting to the next step of the journey for you. Even if you're not normally a team player, let's say you work better alone, you may have to do something with at least one other person this month to get something done. The sooner you finish it, the sooner you can kind of go back into your own swim lane. But there are times where we have to come together, and it feels like the energy coming through for the next month or so is in that energy. And we'll be looking at the next week in just a few moments here, but for now I'm pulling things that are coming through in this moment and can transverse over the next, or travel it rather, over the next couple of months here, depending on where you're at. So each one of you, this will hit a little bit differently. Communication's also really important. When I was studying how bees communicate, they use things like smell. They also have like different movements or dances. And so nonverbal cues are probably more important than the words that are coming out. So pay attention to things like body language, eye contact. And when you're listening to the voice, it's not just the words, it's the tone. So if you ask how someone is and they're like, I'm okay, that's not a yes, that's a question. That's there's something, that you've got to go a level deeper and you're going to follow up on that. And so listen to that tone. Also pay attention to things like self-soothing techniques like sighing. So if you're talking to someone and they do this, or like any equivalent of that, it can be a little less exaggerated, but I'm doing it for camera here. Or rolling of the eyes, or looking at the clock, or pursing of the lips, or whatever it is. All of these things mean I'm frustrated, I'm aggravated, I want to get out of this situation. Or if they just kind of like, they're fidgeting a little bit, so you can tap in a moment and say, what's going on? How are you doing? It feels like there's something on your mind. Let them know that you see them. It may kind of make them feel revealed. Just say, I understand this, this can be difficult. I want to hear what your perspective is. Engage them again. I think that's going to be really important for you. Okay. And that's the main thing. All right. The last thing I put on there is listening. Whenever I see a page card, I always, especially Page of Swords, we want to kind of focus on the importance of listening just as much as communicating. And I think that's going to help you. All right. Now let's move on to dream interpretations and visions that I had as I was also tuning into what's possible this month. I see for some of you, there's this sense of qualifications not being maximized. So I saw a highly qualified person in this vision, in this dream, but the person was walking around. I felt like everything was getting done. I also saw this ability for them to smooth over disagreements and stuff, very much a sort of like the go-to person, the person that's the glue, but they were bored. And I saw the visual representation of a wall, and they couldn't find a way to get around it. My guides were super sort of like literal with me so that we could look at that. So I feel like some of you are up against a wall or feeling blocked, and it's sort of like I'm doing everything that I can, but I don't see anything past this. So to me, I got this sense of accomplishment and a desire to move on. Call it boredom if you want to, or completion. I think that based on what I saw next, an open door and this sort of encouragement to not have to go back or look back. I think some of you have done everything that you need to in a certain place in your life. This could be a job, could be a relationship. It could also just be this sort of habit that you've had, good or not so good. And you just think, all right, I'm done with this. I can't do any more. And I'm not inspired. And therefore you sort of feel this sense of of impatience because your higher self has made the decision to move on, but your physical self is holding back or holding on. So I'm encouraging you to consider like what it might be to walk through that door and try something else. Walk around that wall, find a different path, okay? And we're gonna be looking at ways to kind of get past that sense of not being motivated today, like I said. So that will help some of you in finding yourself if you feel lost, because I definitely felt this energy of being lost when I was looking at this. So that what you guys voted on was perfect for today. Okay, next piece that I was shown was really unique, and we would never see something like this in well, maybe we will one day, but so it was almost like you had a remote control, and then I was looking at a plane, and there was clearly a person that you cared about in the plane, and you were trying to remote land it, like from here on the planet, and it didn't go so well. And the person was stressed out, of course, as well. So what I'm getting with this is we all need to be our own pilot. You can be a co-pilot if you're tasked with that and if you feel like it. But when you're trying to pilot completely for someone else, it's usually going to end up messy. The landing's going to be rougher than you thought, and you're going to end up with a lot more of the turbulence and the sort of like taking the hit there. And I don't think you need to. So there could be someone in your life that has this habit of asking you what to do, and then letting you make the decision, maybe even letting you do something. And then they come back and they complain later because you didn't let them try something, or you're always telling them what to do. Meanwhile, it's sort of like, yeah, but you asked me to do that, or you're letting me do that. So what I'd like you to do, this is very much Emperor and Empress energy, but reversed, or a Queen or King of Wands reversed, which is instead of leading, it's controlling, or it can be the Chariot reversed. So what we want to do is put the Chariot upright, put the Queens and Kings upright, and let people come to you if they want it, but also give them some advice and say, I'd like to see you try it. Why don't you do what you want to do? Come back to me if it doesn't work, but I'd really like to see what your perspective is. Encourage them to find their voice, find their vision. You don't want to just throw them out in the wild, but like kind of lead them into independence, basically cutting the bonds of codependency. I think that's going to be really healthy across all relationships, whether it's work, love, or family. And so you clearly have a great leadership or great sort of great advice, great empathy, and people want to tap into that. But let them also discover their own GPS, like the bee had those 3 extra eyes. They have vision that they haven't tapped into. So you're going to encourage them and say, I know you can do this. I'll listen to you. I'll help you. I'll support you. But I really want it to be your vision, and I'll help you execute on that. Okay. So I summed up everything that I wrote here, which is you were remoting some sort of a plane. The landing was bumpy. And in your own life, it's important for you to take the reins and let other people do the same, basically. Okay. And the last thing that I saw felt very much like a dramatic production. I was seeing a play, a stage, but then there was this technical aspect to it, like moving mechanical pieces. There were actors, and there were all these also like these pieces on stage that were moving around. There was no leadership. It felt like you had to step into a situation and make something chaotic less chaotic, but there was only like one dress rehearsal, and things were not ready for the show that was going to happen later. So you're going to need more practice. Some of you, you're going to need more assistance. You're going to need more leadership. I think learning a lesson from the bees here, assign tasks and pick a queen bee, pick a leader. Maybe that's you. There can not be any winging it. It won't work. So if there's something that you're kind of putting off on the back burner or hoping that it's going to sort itself out, I think that this is going to need more time than people are giving it credit for. So whether that's planning a wedding, planning a presentation, trying to get a house ready to be sold, there's some necessary padding that needs to happen with respect to budget and timing that's not there. And if someone's not supporting you, this is one area where you have to bring it to their attention and say, hey, wake up, this is not going to work. And I'm giving you an advance notice, so if something happens, and it's on you. So there you go. Those were the very specific messages. There was a lot about teamwork. There was a lot about communication, and there was a lot about control. So it'll be interesting to look at your 2 questions and also the week ahead here in just a moment, and we'll see how this all ties together. Okay. If you missed anything, don't worry. I will post all of these on my social media platforms. So my moderators can post a link there, but if you want to see these channeled messages later, let me find the card here. You can follow me across most social networks at Nicholas Ashbaugh. So I'll post a picture on Instagram, Facebook, and on the community tab here on YouTube about one day after the broadcast. I'll also put sub-tweets of all the messages on Twitter. Twitter is the only one that has a different username. You can get all those links on my website, and I also pinned a link up above. So let me stack up all of these cards. I don't do reviews during the collectives because we cover a lot and we cover it fast. So don't worry, just stick around. There'll be more to come. In fact, we're getting into a really good part here, which is new. Thanks to your help last week, we're going to look at the next week ahead. So we'll be looking at Sunday to Sunday and basically just getting a temperature check. And then I'm going to have you vote on something in a second here live because I figured out how to do that. I'll also pull 4 cards for the different elements, earth, air, water, fire, and we'll see if there's a focus you want me to make on that. So think about that. But first things first, I'm going to take a look at the week ahead. Thank you again to everybody that's giving contribution. I will mention your name at the end, but I am going to focus right here and right now on the messages at hand. So let me see here. I'm going to pick a deck here, and maybe when I get to the main ones, I might have you guys help me select the decks. But for now, let's just move forward here. Okay, we're going to shuffle and take a look at the next 7 days and see what the messages are from Sunday to Sunday and in between. This is for everybody present. I will be breaking it down into elements. I will not be breaking it down into signs, because I really want this to be collective. So even when I do something like the elements, it's still kind of groupings. And then we're going to get into the bigger picture topics in just a moment. All right. So we'll put Sunday here, and then the 5 days in between: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we'll do one more for next Sunday. Okay, even though we'll probably read that fresh on Sunday. Okay, so I'm using True Heart Intuitive deck here, and let's look at these messages. All right, so this is your message for today. We have the King of Cups coming through, a fabulous card for opening yourself up to communicating with other people, expressing yourself, definitely a very creative energy. It's a good time to put some of your time and energy into relationships as well. So if you're focusing on love, if you're trying to balance out relationship concerns, this is the time to do it. The fact that the King of Cups is upright tells me that really it's a great day for you. So I would spend some time making sure that you count here. We actually see him kind of balancing the 2 cups that you would see in a 2 of Cups pip card or a minor arcana card. So for some of you, there is this question of, hey, do I want to make some time for a friend, a loved one, a family member? Do I want to take some time for myself and reinvest that energy into something else? We don't have to put Cups energy into a person. We can put it into a passion. We can put it back into ourselves. So you have a chance to feed your heart, to allow yourself to really just express yourself, and I think you're going to be fine. Beautiful card, beautiful energy for today. For those of you that have water placements in your chart, this also is you, and it's shining through. For the rest of you, it's saying get more in touch with kind of being more fluid and in the flow there, and I think it's going to be something that will help you out. All right, let's look at the week now, starting with Monday. Monday is when things get real here. We've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. She does not mince words. If there's something that needs to be said or done, basically the Queen of Swords would encourage you to get that out there sooner than later. And also just to make sure that in your pursuit for brevity and clarity that you do also tune in and remember to be empathic, because Queen of Swords can come across sharp sometimes. So we want to make sure on Monday that collectively our communication is to the point, but is not insensitive. So find a way to kind of make sure that you're listening, say what you need to say. You can get in and out, but don't be so brief or so abrupt or lacking sort of maybe the manners that you need that kind of counters what you're trying to do. It's a great day to edit. For those of you that are maybe in like video editing or a writer or a creative person, this is a time to go in and to get things polished. So communication can be a little tricky, but it can be effective. Editing is so much better on Monday. So I would say anything that needs revision, go for it. If you if you have to sign a contract, I would love for you to look at it closer, because the fact that we saw those multiple eyes and that they were picking up on things that maybe you didn't see before, get a second set of eyes to look at it. If you can have an extra day to sort of sleep on something, do that as well. I want you to be discerning, detail-oriented, and have multiple sets of eyes on things. I think that's the most important thing. The communication stuff, I think you can navigate. We have an expansive energy that's coming through on Tuesday, but it feels like for some of you, you're not quite ready to commit. So we see a path ahead of us here in the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is that thing that I was talking about where there was a path that had closed, but you were holding on to the past. This is without a doubt my favorite Eight of Cups card, because we see Jupiter on the horizon. We see this sort of stairway to heaven opening up and saying, hey, it's all about expansion. It's all about movement. And then we see like this sort of sea of flowers here. It almost reminds me of dandelion seeds that have gone to seed, which makes a lot of sense, because I said that something felt like it was over. Yeah, it's kind of what it looks like to me. But anyway, to me, it looks like flowers that have basically died and gone to seed. So there's something that's finished and there's a fruitful endeavor on the horizon. So you get a chance to leave one cycle behind and create something new. If you're thinking of like future endeavors, what a great time to put some stuff down onto paper or to connect with some people. Monday would be your planning day or writing day, because we have the Queen of Swords reverse and she's busy writing and planning and working it out. And this can kind of be a daydreaming day to figure out how and when something might come to be. But I think with all this Cups energy on Monday and Tuesday, you need to allow some space to breathe, to dream, to just to kind of like be able to exist. And if you are in a traditional job where they expect you to sit at your desk the entire time and do certain tasks, there may be a conversation that needs to happen. Most of us aren't doing this because of COVID anymore, but some of you are going back to work. And if it is a sort of like more of a business sort of job, you may say, you know what, I work more effectively if I can have, you know, an hour here, or I need to go offsite, or I need some special structure to allow myself to really be able to get to that next level. I have it all kind of up here, but I need some time to think it out. Please don't make me go to that meeting or do this. I'm not trying to get out of it. I just am close to something really big coming to fruition. Now, if someone in your life won't let you do that, it's a sign of a bad leader. I've had that before as well. It's a sign of maybe a company where the culture isn't going to mix with yours, and that's something that you can think about for the future. In respect to your own life, it is just making and breaking cycles. So for those of you that are retired or a student, this is basically saying, do I like this current sort of, it's like back in the day where there used to be a reel to reel. It's sort of like this cycle that you're going through. You can take that off and put something else on if you want to. You don't have to keep playing the same song. You don't have to keep doing the same thing. So that's basically what you're being asked to think about. And there needs to be some cognitive time. Eight of Cups is just one away from the Seven of Cups. So you're still figuring things out a little bit. Okay. As we look at the midweek point here in the week ahead, it's time to get back to work. But it's really interesting that we have Medusa here. Looks can kill, right? So I want you to be focusing on the nonverbal, and it feels like some of you may be dealing with someone in your life where they could just be keeping it in, but they're not hiding it from you or from others because you can read their face. So when I'm looking at the Five of Wands, I see Medusa there. And Medusa, if you don't know the myth, basically she was once beautiful, but then she was cursed by the gods, and her face was enough to turn people to stone. So there could just be someone in your life that is having a hard time expressing themselves or shuts you down, or they're not saying what they need to be saying, but their looks are basically telling you a lot, and it's hard to kind of be with them. We need to break through that because the teamwork is important. So I think having a moment to just read the body language and say, whatever's going on, either talk to me or figure it out, because we've got some work to do. I'm here for you, but I'm not going to sort of like, you're not going to have to play that game with them. You might need to just sort of work with the larger team, work with someone else. Maybe there needs to be a reassignment. And in your own life, if you're kind of reaching that stone wall, which is something that I saw too, and it's your relationship, this is something where there's work that has to happen. Things have to be said. We don't see the voice. We don't see the mouth here. So working it out, this might be requiring like a third party or therapy or something like that to help push through. A lot of work can be done on Wednesday, by the way. It's a work day. So we had like a planning and revision day. We had this sort of bigger, high-level day where you're getting to sort of like see how it's all coming together. And then guess what? Middle of the week, stuff has to happen. Don't let one person block it. Find a way to work around that person or do something else if you have to. There's this is interesting. There's a pulling back or a freedom that happens here because the Six of Swords is reversed. But if you really lean into the energy, look at how liberating yourself from something really allows you to see something in a different perspective. So working off site, it's a good day to work off site. It's a good day to work away from someone. For those of you that are deciding to say goodbye to something, the universe is literally saying, yes, I have your back. You're making the right decision. So we see movement. In just a weekly forecast, I love the Six of Swords. I see you going from one thing to another. Whatever this was, it's gone. You're on to something better and you're above it now. Okay. Don't let this bring you down because the energy of Thursday is really optimistic and we want to see movement in the week. So I like the Six of Swords. And it's not a death card. I mean, it is a death card, but it's really transversing and letting something go. So if you can let something go, then you're going to make progress and you're going to get to the finish line a lot faster. So very productive energy coming through on Thursday, without a doubt. I love what we see on Friday. Things are in order. We have the King of Swords, who basically is saying, I feel good about this. I'm ready to communicate to other people. I'm listening. I'm in my sort of zone. So communication is at an all-time high on Friday. If you have to have an important meeting or conversation, that's the day. I think that the difference here is pretty clear. Like things are just not quite where they need to be. You have to sharpen your pencil, do some high-level thinking, actually engage some other people, take some time away a little bit, and then by the time the end of the week comes to sort of fruition, you're going to really, really be ready to step to the next level. So I see you getting over a hurdle this week. The hurdle is potentially with another person though, and it boils down to communication or lack of communication. So that's going to be one of the most important things that you can do. And taking a little sneak peek at next Sunday, we'll always look at Sunday when I read it. It's a happy card. We have the Nine of Cups. So I really feel good about that. I think we missed Saturday, didn't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, wait. Yeah, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, Saturday. This is just Saturday, so we're fine, actually. So next Saturday is the Nine of Cups. I think we'll leave it at that because I want to do next Sunday as its own. So Nine of Cups on Saturday is looking really, really good. With the Nine of Cups, a couple things to focus on. So as we're entering into next weekend, I want you to look at what's possible and also look at the positive side of things. In its upright position, see how she's kind of radiating and connecting to all of these prisms of light, which I love. I think the important thing for you to look at is if I see what's possible, much like we talked about in the channeled messages, if I see what's possible, if I stay positive, if I open myself up to have a happy surprise, then guess what? Something good can come into my life. I'm not going to let one thing pull me off of a positive trajectory. I'm also not going to go to extremes. We don't need to get so positive or so sort of like Pollyanna on this that it's off-putting. I think just staying open, looking at the positive, and then taking anything that comes with a grain of salt, with a deep breath is going to be key. Ultimately, really positive cards. If I just turn the camera down for a second, I like what I see. The week itself seems to be centered on a big work day in the middle and then big communication days here. So Monday and Friday are key for communication. Friday's better than Monday. On Tuesday and Thursday, we have sort of like dreaming and then kind of moving on. So the big work happens in the middle. The big communication happens at either end. It's a nice spread, actually. And then we see two really beautiful cards here bookending this. So today and next Saturday are both Cups cards, and they're both upright and they're both positive. So I feel like you're in a good space. This is the midweek is where a lot of the magic happens, and the center literally is where you want to stay strong and not kind of get pulled off of your good trajectory. It's a good week. There's nothing I'm really worried about other than other people and how they may try to block you. Okay, so we like what we see there. Let's now move along to the elements, and I'm going to put a little poll up for you here for the elements. Let me create it now. I'm curious if you would like me to focus on, so what's the focus for the elements? And that's going to be earth, air, water, fire. Would you like me to focus on a general Or would you like me to focus the messages on relationships? We can also do work / career. And let's see, so health, and then health and well-being. So I'm going to ask this now. You get to choose. Let's see, what's the focus for the elements? Here you go. You actually get to vote on it. So there you go. There's your vote, and I'm going to select a card while you guys decide on that. All right. So far, general is winning. We'll see. And occasionally I'll do these polls if you like it. Looks like general is the winner, but we'll see what's going on. You guys get a couple minutes to vote here. I'm going to take a drink of water while you're voting, and then we're going to end it in just a few seconds here. I agree with the majority here. I think we should do general. All right, so let's end it for now. All right, thank you so much. We're going to do general, which was voted on by the majority. I will periodically do live polls here in this reading because I want you to be able to have an impact on what I'm doing. So I did polls to help choose what the topics were today, and I like your feedback. So thank you for voting on that. When we do the meditation, I may give you a couple options as well. So stay present, stay engaged, and we'll see. Let me just double check. So yes, we got general by 40%. Okay, so we're going to pull for the elements here. I'm going to do. Let's see, I usually do it fire, earth, air, water. So we'll start with fire. Let me just pull everything here, but I'll identify what I'm looking at. So for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, here's your card, fire. For earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, your card is coming next. For air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, your card is coming next. Lots of pentacles, interesting. And for water, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, your card is next. Okay. All right. Appropriate that you got water. All right. So let's take a look at these messages. Again, starting with fire. Wow. There's a lot of people coming into your life this week, or there's a chance to sort of figure out how you want to connect with others. Let's pull this up right. You got the Three of Cups. So again, we're looking at Aries, Leo, and Sag. For you this week, the question is, do I want to engage or do I not want to engage? As I said, teamwork is going to be really important for you. When we looked at the general, just sort of the general messages in the channel portion. And I also saw at the midweek for everybody, the Five of Wands. So if you have any Sagittarius or any sort of Leo or Aries placement in your chart, you want to be looking at how am I going to work with others this week? The reversal of the Three of Cups can mean that people are interested in your time and energy, but you're pulling back, you're saying no. Or you're feeling that this is kind of like the unlikely hermit where you just want to be to yourself. Make sure that you're not ostracizing or that you're not missing something. There may be just a good chance to let go energetically and have a good time. So say yes to some of these things. In relationships this month, even though this is general, so I'll look at all of them. So I would say with relationship energy, there could be a need to re-engage with the partner. There may be a question of commitment that's coming through. There could also be a family member or a third party that's getting in between you and someone that you love. So focus on, again, group dynamics. I think across the board, that's key. And remember to celebrate the little victories, the little things in life. The Three of Cups reminds us that there are good things, that there are important things to happen. You may be meeting new people, by the way. This does come through as a sort of transitional energy. Not that it's not serious, but it feels like whenever I see the Three of Cups, there needs to be a chance to just date, get to know someone. So even in a work relationship or a community relationship where it's just sort of like this is someone new or a new neighbor, you're just trying to figure out where you stand with this person. So the footing's off a little bit. Give yourself a chance to give both parties a chance to sort of find their grounding. Okay. I like the Three of Cups. It's not that bad. With the reversal, though, you just have to consider how much to give and maybe not to say no all the time because there are people that are wanting to connect with you. All right. That was fire. We're going to move to earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You can't do everything. That's the first thing that comes through. You have to make a choice this week. The Two of Pentacles can show that some of you have stressed yourself or stretched yourself too thin. And now it's important to pick a path and really focus on that. You take one of the aces, or take one of the pentacles away, and you have an ace. So you basically have two aces, but you do them together, and it's not as good. So either delegate or decide, and I think you're going to be in a much better place once you start to do that. The other thing that I would say with this is work-life balance. So some of you may just be at a point where you decide, hey, I need a little bit more time to myself, to heal myself, to focus on relationships, to ground myself. It's interesting that we've got pentacles here coming through for Earth. So it feels like this is a time to just really get your priorities straight, okay? You can't do everything that you want with this, but you can, not at once anyway. It feels like by making a choice, you're going to do a better job though. So sometimes when we try to please everything or do everything for everyone, it just doesn't work out. So stay balanced. You're going to be okay. Make a choice. And I feel like things are going to start to feel better when you do that. In a relationship, it's 50-50. But there may be something going on with your partner or a friend where they're going to need a little bit more of your time and energy. And you just have to decide how much, because something has to give. That's the basic piece of this. Finding balance and releasing things that are taking you off of that balance, okay? In health, excuse me, you want to watch your the balancing of things like what you're eating, how much you're exercising, and also just literally walking, making sure that you don't trip on something, because this can be a card that shows you lose your balance. We see her actually here in high heels. Maybe don't wear the high heels this week. Maybe take care of the ankles a little bit, okay? And if you've been wearing the same tennis shoes for a while or something like that, maybe it's time to get some new shoes, okay? Would normally not see that with that, but I am with this particular card. All right, so balance overall is your key message. Saying no, picking one thing and really hitting it out of the park, I think, is important. Don't be afraid to ask for help with this, all right? Those are the main messages for folks with Earth placements. Now let's look at air. And we have a card of holding on again here. We have a lot of balance and holding on kind of cards here. So with the Four of Pentacles, I see it as foundational. The most important thing that you can do is let go of whatever it is. There's this fear or feeling that this, whatever this is, may be all that there ever is, or that I have to protect myself because I don't want to be hurt, or at least this is something that I can predict versus the unknown. So there's something that you're holding on to that is really just something from the past. So let that go. When it comes to finances, and I'm going to put this is true for both Earth and air. I want you to advocate for more. So for those of you in Earth, this is break even. This is less than break even. So if you are working too hard, and now we'll go back to air. If you're working too hard and then maybe your boss isn't giving you enough, your partner isn't reciprocating, or you're volunteering a lot, but you're kind of feeling sick or run down, this is showing me that you need more sort of reciprocity. You need more in return. So don't be afraid to ask for more, to advocate for more. And trying to purchase something, try to get a discount. It feels like when it comes to money and value, I want to see more value for you, less expense or cost going out. Okay, so those are the main messages coming through with that. Definitely in relationships, it feels like one person's holding back or you're doing more. So we need to see a little bit more balance there. Water looks good this week. We have the Ace of Cups. So water being Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. The fact that the card is reverse is saying there needs to be a little bit of emotional release that happens first. And I really want you to be able to feel like if you're doing something that it really feels like it's right for you, that someone's not forcing something on you in any way, shape, or form. And if you feel also like there's something where you want a little bit more, across the board, you can speak up this week. But with this, the cup needs to be upright and overflowing. When it's reversed, I think a lot of you have a tendency to please, to appease, to want approval. And it's saying, no, you should also be able to just be happy, find that strength within. And it's not about getting that approval from someone else. You need to feel it inside. So focus on fulfillment rather than sort of like the external validation. And that's going to open you up. It's a good time for love with the Ace of Cups. Could be coming from an unexpected source. For some of you, you may not feel mutual attraction. Just be honest. Remember what we saw in the 7-day forecast with the Queen of Swords at the beginning. Just say it. If you're interested, you're interested. If you're not, you're not. Let that person go, because there's more energy that's coming through. And we saw the end of the week being better. So I would say just be yourself and try not to hold back unnecessarily here. But ultimately, I would say this is the most positive card of all of them so far because it shows an opportunity and some movement. This is really positive too. I think the two signs that need to focus the most, or the two elements, are Earth and Air. So basically with Earth and Air, it's about finding balance and letting go, respectively there. Okay, so those are the elements for this week. Just a quick mini check-in for all the signs, and a reminder that I have all of the August and September readings up right now. I'll be doing October in just about a week. So hopefully you like that and that helps you out. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on to your first topic here. Again, let me just take a look at the topics that we voted on. And again, by a pretty large margin, we got how to reach the finish line and maintaining momentum. I'm going to write that down. It just kind of helps me connect with it. So we'll take a look and see what's coming through with this. So one more time, reaching the finish line. And when I think about this, I think about sometimes like it's not just motivation. I think sometimes there's this feeling of how did I end up here? Why am I doing this? So it's really trying to see if you agree with the direction in which you're headed. So yeah, reaching the finish line. Why did you stop? So when I look at this, I'm going to write this down. I want to look at the deep past and understand, like, why did you stop? Or why are you pausing? So what's the delay? What's the delay? All right, just kind of helps me understand why we're looking at this, because there's really like hidden questions beneath the big question. So that's what we want to look at. So reaching the finish line, what's the motivation, or finding the motivation again? And let's see what we can do for you. This is for everybody present. So I want you to think of aspects in your life where you might be delayed a little bit. So maybe this is a career plan that you have, maybe going back to school. Maybe for some of you, there could be relationship goals. There could also be something where you just, you've been dragging your feet for maybe years on it, personal project. Maybe you're a writer like I am and you haven't finished the book. What is it that's holding you back from just saying yes and committing to what you're supposed to be doing? All right, I'm going to be quiet now and we're going to look at the cards. I'm using the Afro Goddess Tarot Arcanas here. Thanks again for everybody that's showing support. A reminder that I will say thank you at the end, just so I can kind of keep the flow of the presentation. But I do see all of your kind support there. I am going to expand this one since it's the first one. So we'll do a full expanded forecast on this. And then when I look at the second one, I'll do past, present, future. So we're going to look at this in all aspects of your life using a catalyst and then health, wealth, love, and destiny, just to really get a full feeling for this one. It's also going to tap into the overall energy that we're looking at here. So and I used to do 3 topics, but I've decided 2 is better because I can do a deeper dive in the 2. Plus we've added that extra stuff at the beginning. So hopefully you like the format. We'll continue to evolve it over time. All right, let's get these all set up and let's talk about what's coming through. All right, let me just take a quick drink of water and then we're going to get into this. What an appropriate card to start it off. It says, time for a quantum leap. And then the smaller text says, prepare for a makeover. So quantum leap tells me that you're already there. I honestly do see a lot of what came through in intuition earlier today, where higher self, soul, maybe even your guides are whispering to you, you've got this, you're done, you're ready. Let's move past that block. And the sooner you, on the physical level, just think, yeah, I'm already there, it's already happening, the sooner it will start to happen. So the quantum leap tells me that a decision, just a decision, I'm going to do this, will make it happen faster. And then following through, committing and saying, all right, I'm going to do this, and on Monday, tomorrow, or whenever you see this, the next day, I'm going to talk to this person, or I'm going online and I'm going to fill out this application, or I'm going to take this here and do this. Somehow signify to the universe, now is the time. Now I'm ready. Because it's waiting for you on some levels. The makeover also is about seeing yourself differently. Some of you have been conditioned to only see yourself in one way, shape, or form. The makeover is the makeover in the third eye, which is basically saying, if you can see it, you can do it. But if you continue to only see what other people see, it's the same sort of issue that we talked about earlier, where sometimes you're limiting your possibilities. So I want you just to let go of this place in this space and time in this body and all of that. Just imagine that you could push yourself forward. Don't put a timing on it and just think, how would it feel? Wouldn't it be great if? What if that's already happening? What if all I have to do is just trust? And I think that's basically what this card is showing you. So the first and most important thing is that you see yourself differently and that you decide and take an initial step. That will kind of, it's almost like if you ever take a cold shower or dip your foot in the water at the beach and it's really cold and you have that deep breath. That's what happens. All of a sudden you wake up and things start to come to you. It's like this rush of energy. So that's what I'm getting, is like this deep breath where you wake up. So wake up, see yourself differently. And if you've taken a cold shower, you're very awake after that. You're going to be able to start to move a lot faster. Okay. What's being projected is not actually the true reflection of what's possible. That's the other piece to that. At the center, we have the movement card, the Six of Swords, which we saw coming through at Thursday's energy when we were looking at the week ahead. So Six of Swords is fantastic. The card is reversed, so it's saying an overdue movement. So if you've been thinking of moving on, moving out, sort of expansion in any way, shape, or form, this is definitely saying yes to that. And it's saying don't limit yourself by the borders. So when I was tuning in psychically to your energy, to the collective energy, I was being shown a wall, a brick wall, right? So we need to get past that. We need to get moving. And so it feels to me like the minute you get out of that, you need to go from the castle to the moat and beyond. You need to get out of there. So it's time to start moving, basically. Also, if you're only looking at something in one space, look outside that space. So if you're looking to move in a certain place, look beyond those borders. If you're looking to move in a certain time, look beyond the time frame. If you're looking to get a certain job in a certain geographical area, again, look beyond that. Look beyond borders, look beyond limits, and reach out to people, because there may be help in unexpected places. Outreach, movement, and going beyond borders and walls. And maybe it's also budgets. So if you have certain numbers that are constraining you, you've got to look above or below, and there may be more options in those areas too. Pushing the wall away and stopping the limitation. Some of you may just be afraid of stepping into the truth, the true you. We've got the star crossing it. Love the star because this is a connection to high self, your higher self, to the highest possibility. Sometimes it's just hard to sort of see yourself being the one that people are looking at. It could just be attention. It could just be feeling a little bit revealed. But what a great card. I would say you're moving towards success ultimately, and don't be afraid of the success. Don't be afraid of what may come, what people may think, because this can also just be that visibility card. The star is often associated with celebrity, visibility, accountability, or just being there and people looking at you. So some of you are just afraid of that visibility. But it looks good to me. So let's see what else is going on. I was really curious about deep past here. So again, when we're looking at motivation, lack of motivation or slowing motivation, this one is really important. So we have the Two of Swords. Some of you are paralyzed with the what if, or why not, or how about. All these thoughts of, well, is this going on? Or what will people think about this? And what do I do if this happens? It's the questions that come in and paralyze us. The Two of Swords is begging for you to make one decision. Again, we can always, on the Two of Pentacles and the Two of Swords, you can just take away one and you have action. So you have two possible decisions or points of action, but you're holding yourself between the two and you have to choose one. So it's very much associated with what we were seeing with the Two of Pentacles message that came through. So I would say for those of you where this resonates, I would say just do your best, pick the path that feels best to you, and never beat yourself up. Because if it is sort of like shades of gray, if it's not black and white for you, and you think I could do this, I'm not sure, pick a path, and trust that that's what Spirit wanted you to do. And if there's tumults along the way, maybe the other one was worse. What if you actually picked the right path? What if you're picking the right path? That's what I want you to trust yourself in doing. You have the capacity to discern and to decide and to move. And that's all you need to do with the Two of Swords. So for some of you, you've just waited so long or too long that you've just stopped moving. So any movement will start positive trajectory for you, okay? You're overthinking. We have the Seven of Cups here. The Seven of Cups is great for brainstorming, but it's not good for getting stuff done. Hey, Apollo. So this is really begging you to decide on what it is you're trying to do. So some of you, if this is a creative thing, this project or this idea, the Seven of Cups it has a place, a time and a place. But eventually, you have to take one or two of these and decide, I'm going to do this, I committed to this, I stand for this. And then that's what you focus on. So I see a lot of exploration and indecision. If you're not the type of person that comes to a conclusion easily, you could pull in someone in your life that can help mentor or project manage or hold you to be accountable. You may need a middle person to kind of help with that, because these are kind of, it's like a car skidding off the road a little bit. We need to have a little bit. This is where I saw the Chariot. I want it to be you ultimately, but you may need a little bit of help getting there. You can always come back to some of these ideas. So I think what's powerful is just go to the one that feels the best to you, and then keep track of what you didn't do. And then if you don't like where you're headed, you can always come back. So there's a time and a place. You just have to sort of like pick one and move. I think that'll be really, really important for you. Okay. The next piece here we have is the Six of Wands, which is success. It's reversed. It does feel like there is some fear of success. It also feels like some of you were driven by people in your life that expect it. Mom, teacher, community, where they just think that you have to do a certain thing. You don't. So Six of Wands should be something where you feel that sense of, this is exactly for me. So if you've stopped doing something because you don't feel it, good for you. It wasn't your dream. It was someone else's dream. If you've stopped doing it because you're afraid of what your family will think or what others will think when you expose or express your true self, then you need to rethink that. So you're going to be successful. Are you happy with that success? That's the most important thing. Where is the success taking you? Who's pushing you on this path? Is it an old version of yourself? Is it your family? Is it a dream? Sometimes we can have a dream and get over the dream. So that's fine too. You don't have to sort of stick with something that you said you were going to do when you were 8 years old. So this is a recalibration moment. Why am I doing it? Who wants me to do it? How do I feel about doing it? That's the most important piece that can recalibrate and remotivate. Because if you're doing it for yourself, if you're excited about what this will do, if it's going to create a legacy or something like that, all of a sudden you feel like I have no choice. I'm going to find a way. Somehow this is going to get out there. And then we have, again, King of Swords coming through. Second time he's popped up here. So that's when the action happens. Let's kind of look again. I'm not sure what I should be doing. There's all of these things that are going on. I need to get moving, but I'm afraid what people will think if I start to do this. I'm already successful, but I'm not getting maybe joy from that success. I feel like there's a different calling. I think I have to speak up. I think I have to take action. And that's kind of what I'm seeing with all of that, okay? I think that's the most important thing as we're looking at that. The King of Swords also, when they communicate their truth, they do it with love, and they do it in a way that is authentic. So if you're going to make a decision, leaving something or moving towards something, you would express that with joy and love. You would say to friends or family that may be surprised by a change in your trajectory, I love you and I care about you, and I'm so excited about something that I've decided to do in my life. I want you to be a part of it. Let me tell you. You're not really giving them a chance to weigh in. You're saying, I love you and I know you'll support me on this because my heart is really in this direction. If they come back with feedback, say, well, I appreciate it. It is my life. I do hear you, but this is something I feel good about. I really wasn't asking for your feedback. So you can also put someone in their place. Thanks for that. I wasn't asking. Good to know. I'm still doing this because it's something that I believe in. I'm not asking for permission. I hope you support me, but I'm just letting you know because I love you and I'd like you to be a part of it. So that's the way the King of Swords is very strong. He's not argumentative. He'll just get out what needs to be said and then move on. And then, yeah, you can kind of let some of that other stuff bounce off you like titanium. You're not gonna be dented by what people say. This is also very action-based. You don't have to do all the work yourself with the King of Swords. This is a leadership card. So you'll decide what you really want to put your time and effort on, and then you can lead or inspire other people around you. Some of you are stepping towards that. If you're not allowed to do that, then this is saying you need to find a place or a time where you can, because it really does feel like communication and leadership are coming through. Has to be your voice. For those of you that are writers, whether you're composing music, writing a movie script, writing a book, writing poetry, or writing speeches for other people or whatever. What's going on here is that if you can't express yourself, then it's demotivating, right? You don't want to do it. If your editor comes back with so many revisions that the character doesn't even look like it, or the song has been overproduced and it's lost its edge, you've got to find a way to find your voice again. Speak up and say, no, that's not what I wanted to do. And that's not what, my name isn't going to go to that. So I'm taking it back. I'll go somewhere else, or I'm not going to release this until we get this like correct. So you're going to find your voice, own your voice, and allow people to see it from your perspective. Okay. So one part of the equation when we're looking in the past was about what do you want to do? Sometimes when you're kind of on the fence for a while, when you do decide that this is what you want, people will question it. They're like, where did this come from? And you can say it's been there all along. I've just had now enough time and energy and trust in myself to express it. So I feel like you're finding your voice, and finding the voice will help you with the motivation. Also, saying you're going to do it and starting the action holds you accountable to it. So creating accountability will help you motivate and reach the finish line. All right, now this is the key piece, because this is where you fit into the equation. We have the Six of Pentacles. I like this. It's reversed, but it's still really positive. This is an elevated version of the Two of Pentacles. Now I see that through the work, through the speaking up, through being comfortable with having people look at you and judge you however they may, you have more resources, you have more energy. You can say no. This card tells me you can do everything you want, just not in the timing that you thought you could. The Two of Pentacles told me you had to make a really strong sort of choice, for those of you that applied to when I was looking at the elementals sort of energy earlier. But with this, for the collective, most of you now have the capacity to do what you want. You just have to decide less of that, more of this, not right now, or I need you to help a little bit more, balancing out the scales. So you're going to be okay. You just have to decide how and when, and that's going to be the most important piece. You have everything that it takes to be successful with the Six of Pentacles. This is my base card for success. Five of Pentacles, cutting it too close. Four of Pentacles, not enough. Two, you better make a better choice. But with an ace and with the six, I'm feeling really good about it. Three of Pentacles is just fantastic, but it's a different sort of message with this. So for this, I feel like you've got it. You've just got to be discerning. Be pickier in how you're spending your time. You can find time and energy in places you didn't expect it. So instead of hanging out with a friend or watching something mindless on TV or whatever, put that time and energy, rest a little bit, put some stuff into a plan, cancel something that you're not using. You'll find energy, you'll find time, you'll find money. This is like a discovery card as much as it is a discerning card, okay? So there you go. Welcome to the new channel members, by the way. All right, so I like where you're headed, and I feel like you've got what it takes. So my question that I was kind of asking also internally when I was looking at this is, can they do it? Absolutely, you can do this. Choices are necessary, but you can do this. Around you, when we're looking at the environment, we have the Ace of Wands. I like that you have an ace, but it feels to me like everybody's an expert, right? This is like going, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, there's too many experts at the table, and you need to listen, but you also need to be heard. So I would say after you've listened, after you've received the feedback, if people around you don't return in kind, you say, hold up, I listen to you, I have some things to say, and this is what they are. Like it has to go both ways. So you keep an open mind, but make sure that they're keeping an open mind as well. All right. Don't delay. If you have a really good idea, let's move on it. This sometimes can be a lethargic sort of energy, Ace of Wands reversed. So I want you to also look around you. Are you feeling uninspired by your office, by your house, by your coworkers, by something around you? I feel like a change in your environment can help you clarify what you've got going on in your head. Okay, good. All right. Now let's take a look at possibilities and where you can succeed in this. And we have the page card here with Page of Wands. So I think for some of you, I want you to explore a different audience because people are interested, but it's different. This actually skews a little bit younger. So if you have an idea that you want or something that you want to do, it feels like some of you need to pull younger people into your life to help with this, and also try a different group. So for those of you that are trying to pitch a project or trying to get support on something, elders may not get it, but siblings and younger may get it. People in your peer group or younger. It feels like you have sort of a youthful or more innovative way of thinking. So team up, partner up, surround yourself with younger energy, and that's going to help. I also want you to lead by example. Just show in your body language that this is what you want, and I think that's going to help quite a bit as well. Because we're looking at a page card, how you articulate yourself is important, and you may need to say different things to different people to help them understand that. So, like, for instance, any type of conversation, if I'm going to have the same conversation with like a grandparent, a parent, or a best friend, I would alter the language because they're going to be coming from different generations and different technologies and different cultures, different understandings. So I think you have to tailor your message. It's a lot of work, but it's important. And so you can't just say the same thing to everybody. So one of the keys to success is tailored messaging. So in everyday conversations, that's what I talked about. In a bigger perspective, this is about targeted marketing, right? And showing it, not saying it. Visual representation in what you're doing. Some people do a lot better with pictures, and we need to get it into their heads. And to me, when I see this, it's demonstrative, whereas if it was a page of swords, it would be more descriptive. So you need to show it in visual language or interpretive dance, I don't care, but show it somehow, okay? And I think that's going to help people, especially those who lack faith. If they can see especially a parent, right? If they can see the bottom line looks good, you say, hey, I'm paying all my bills, I'm happy with this, this is going to be sustaining. Be like, well, I guess I can't complain. I can't use that excuse. So show them something tangible, and they're going to get behind that, okay? Yay on the outcome. We have the Ace of Cups. But the Ace of Cups keeps coming through reversed for everybody in all my different decks here. So there's a common message because we're doing a collective this month, today rather, which is you deserve to be happy. It's okay for you to do something that feels right for you. And it's your life. You have one life to live. You live many lifetimes, but you only live this once. So you live this lifetime once, live it to the best potential, to the fullest potential. Let your heart be open. Go forth in this. And I really love that if we kind of look at the pivotal cards here, crossing the center, we have the Star. At the top, we have success and the Six of Wands. We also have movement in the center with the Six of Swords. And then we have communication here, near future with the King of Swords. And then it's reversed, but we still have an Ace of Cups here. There's nary a negative card in this spread. You did not get the Tower. You did not get Death. You did not get the Ten of Swords. And I don't even see them as bad cards. I just see them as blocks. You're less blocked than you think, but I think it's more about success it's not what other people feel. It's what you feel. You've got to feel this for sure. And you have to show it to some people rather than tell it to them, particularly people that just they're not listening, but they will see sort of like certain levels of success, or they can see it when it's on paper or if there's something tangible. So show it, feel it, and do it because you want to do it. Don't be afraid to be seen because you've got great potential. I really like where this is headed. And And as we go back to the catalyst here, you have to see yourself in that new role before anyone else will. Let's quickly expand it, and then we'll move on to the second topic, okay? So, trust your instincts. This is in mind, body, spirit. It reads a little different when I'm reading a topic like this, a special topic. So we have the wolf, which can be a lone wolf. We have instinct, which is coming through. And the interesting thing with this, someone was mentioning my book. In my book, the gray wolf is kind of like a shapeshifter, grovaria. So you have this potential to kind of be like the gray wolf, which is I can step into something different. I can see something that others can't, and you just have to sort of like mold that. If you feel something is off in your body or in your life and you're not happy, trust the instinct. Trust your instincts in general. Looking also at how your overall career path or opportunity in front of you can help you out. What I'm seeing here for you is balance. You can't make everybody else in your life happy and not be happy as well. I think that's really important. People are asking what sign. Every sign. If you're here, you're getting a message. I already did the elemental sign by sign stuff earlier. So everyone that's present is getting a message here. Just relax and listen to the messages that are coming through. Other messages with respect to health. So let me just look at this. All right. What we're going to look now at is health aspects that could be holding you back. Some of you could be overwhelmed. This could simply be a difficulty in concentrating. It could also be ADHD. So there could just be either too much energy, like the hyperactivity piece of it, or difficulty in parsing all the things at once. So one thing at a time, slow it down a little bit. And like I said, pick a path. So something with attention, focus, and again, we talked about environment playing a role in that. I think that's key. Some of you have a lot of pressure and could also be having some anxiety with performing or being seen. So you can work on those anxieties. These are just emotional things that are popping up. Some of you just need some time to decompress. There's a lot going on. So you need to get to the upright Ace of Cups. So emotionally, there's just a lot. And if you're feeling low energy, obviously you need to talk to a doctor, but meditation can help, exercise can help, and cleaning can help, like clearing the environment around you, something I plan to do a little bit later today too. So it's always good to kind of clean, redecorate, move the energy around. Okay, that's the message for health and how health can affect what's going on here. It's more about mental acuity, focus, and concentration. Looking specifically at your job, whether or not this is attached to what you're trying to do, or it could be blocking you on this, we have uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. I do feel like many of you are not being seen for what your potential is. So the boredom that I was picking up on in my channeled messages has to do with you allowing yourself to move beyond the boundaries of your current program at school, your current job. For those of you that are retired, it could be whatever activities you've engaged in. There's something more, and it's time. And it feels like to me, it's just you're not getting enough back from what your current sort of engagement is. So go with whatever new idea you have. You definitely have the potential based on what I saw. All right, let's look at people around you, the relationships, how they help or hinder your ability to get to the finish line. And you will get to the finish line based on the cards that I saw. Turn your heart light on. Let's read a little bit deeper. It says, allow yourself in this moment to reflect on a time when you experienced love. So when was the last time you really felt excited about doing something? Are you excited about this thing that you're having a hard time finishing? If you are, there's no reason not to do it. If you're not, it's actually the universe saying you can dream another dream. You can do something else. You have permission to also let something go. So for some of you that are lacking motivation, you get a surprising message from me this month, which is if you don't feel it or if you were pushed into doing it and it's never getting done, it's because you've moved on. So it's okay. If you feel like you want to do it and you're afraid of what other people think, don't let that hold you back. So just get real with yourself. What are you truly feeling? You need to feel love and passion and excitement. And if you don't feel it, don't do it. If you do feel it, absolutely, there's no reason you shouldn't go towards this because you got the Six of Wands in your headspace here. We have the King of Swords, which is a great leadership. And then we also see the Ace of Cups, which means people are interested. And of course, the Star. So you've got this. You will ace this, but not if you don't feel it. If you don't, that's the main reason why. because it's not authentic to you. So be authentic. And the people around you should feel love and joy and celebration for what you want to do as well. Okay? Squirrel spirit, believe in yourself. The card is reversed, but he's such a cute squirrel. So let's take a look at him. He's playful and is not afraid, is unafraid to sort of climb to that highest branch to get that nut that he wants. So I want you to go to the extremes. Do what you need to, reach what you need to. Also, there are some hidden resources with the squirrel. I love squirrel totems, but sometimes they can forget stuff. They bury all these nuts and all of their sort of goodies, and they forget sometimes where some of these things are, or they don't get there in time. So I want you to take a look at your resource management, and before you climb that branch, see if you already have what you're looking for. You might have more than you think. I see 3 acorns, which to me are grounded symbols, which I could see as pentacles. 3 of pentacles tells me it's time to move on. So looks like you've got it. It's just recognition now, recognizing what you have and letting other people see it as well. Okay. So those are your messages here. I'll try to sum up again real quickly here. I think the key thing for you right now is just, can you see yourself in that new light? If you can see it, things happen fast, quantum leap. The success is at hand, but you have to want it. You should feel the motivation because it's something that you desire, not because it's been pushed on you. Usually when we feel a little bit deflated, again, sometimes it's just because we're uncertain of ourselves or we're uncertain of the path. So find the certainty and just keep moving forward. I see success. You've got a good reading. I think you can do this. So decide, declare, be accountable. And if you don't want it, it's okay. It's okay to let something go. We all have stuff in our life where we just think, you know, I've tried everything, right? I've tried everything, or I've given this a go and I don't want to do it anymore. You're allowed to do that as well. But if you can see yourself in a different light, others will as well. All right. Let's move on to our second topic, and then we'll get into the latter part of the reading in just a second. So let me just read the title for the second topic here. Again, it is Lost and Found. I like that. And it's basically how to find yourself again. And so many of us get lost for different reasons, right? So sometimes we lose ourselves in a relationship. Sometimes we lose ourselves because we're a caretaker for someone. Sometimes we just disappear into work because we're afraid of putting ourselves out there. So I'm going to really read this broadly, and we're just going to see where the lost and found pieces are. So lost and found. And for this, I'm going to do a slightly different. I'm going to do past, present, and future so we can see. I think that's going to actually help a lot in what's been lost. So lost and found, and basically it's how to find yourself again. Okay, let's pick a deck and let's see what we want to focus on. All right, so let me see which ones are calling to me. All right, I'm going to use this one. Tarot de St. Croix. And we're going to focus on, generally speaking, what is going on? Show me the distraction. Show me how you can find yourself again. Again, this is general for everybody present. We already did some sign-specific stuff at the beginning. Yay, finally an Ace of Cups upright. Lots of Six of Wands. I'm going to tell you, everybody that's present today, I feel like you're on a really good path. So it's just about making sure that you're happy. And permission to move on there with the Death card as well. Okay, so we're going to do this a little different. I'm going to focus on... we'll pull one catalyst card, and then we're going to do past, present, future using a different deck. I just have to decide which one, so give me a second. All right, and let me see if I can find past, present, future. Let's see here. All right, here we go. I'm going to use the archetypes, wild unknown archetypes for this one. Okay, so let's talk about what we've got here. We're going to start with the catalyst, and I'm also going to look at past, present, future, because I feel like that's going to play a big role in Lost and Found. Flip it upside down, and the card was upside down. So we're going to listen to it and flip it right side up. And it says basically question your beliefs, which goes back to what I was talking about earlier with the bee and the different ways of looking at stuff. There's always a new way to look at this. So I really want you to be able to see something that could be perceived as a block in your life as a blessing, to look at, that's, if we have time at the end, we'll see. I didn't even do blessings and blocks because there was no time. But yeah, for this, flip it upside down and look at a block as a blessing. Look at something from another point of view, and you might be surprised here. Also, maybe you didn't have all the information. So if you've ever also looked at something in your life, we're looking at losing yourself here and finding yourself. Sometimes we look at a lost amount of time and we think, I wasted time. You called in an experience with this. You're stronger for the experience. Ask yourself if you would have the same empathy, the same strength, the same kindness if you didn't go through all of that, because maybe you're so much stronger because of that. So just look at it from another angle and see the wonderful person that you are and think, well, maybe that helped make me who I am. Just look at it differently. Let's look at past, present, future here. All right, so timing is important here. So we have this big eye at the center, and then we have I believe it's a Greek word for timing, kairos or whatever. So with that, I think that it's not about the timing, it's about the execution. And this is about the divine timing as well. So this is kind of like the eye above the pyramid, or the third eye. And your guides, your higher self, knew exactly the alignment. So what are you going to do now? That's when I see this card, I see you focusing on the past, and I want you to focus on the present. And that's the past influences saying, learn and now look around you, because it is the right time. You still have time. You might have spent or lost some time, but you have plenty of time now, and you still have pages in your book. So what are you going to do about it now? That's the most important thing, okay? And now as we look at the present, answering the question of the previous card, we have this nectar card, which, hello, that is in perfect alignment with the bee that we saw earlier. In fact, I'm going to pull the image up for those of you that might have joined a little bit late. So we have this white flower, we have nectar. And today, I believe that many of you are kind of stepping into the sort of pollinator role where you're deciding like, yes, I'm ready to do something with this. So again, for those of you that joined a little bit late, I took a walk this morning. I saw the same flower. Look at all those lovely bees around this beautiful cacti, and a cactus rather. There were a lot of blossoms, and like literally there was like 5 or 6 right on that one blossom, and there were like 4 blossoms on them. So I was trying not to get stung. I was like, let me just get this picture for everybody. They're going to enjoy it, because there's this message of fertility and abundance and possibilities. So here's the flower being handed to you, literally the white flower that I saw this morning. You're the bee. I talked about the bee earlier. Are you looking around you? Are you looking at the timing, time of day? The time is now. So going back even to the motivation thing that we just talked about, you're getting clarification, like act now. Those bees were busy because the flower just opened and they wanted to get the nectar before hummingbirds, birds, and other things kind of suck the flower dry, right? And then we have this pilgrim card at the end, which is the journey. It's a full sort of energy that you're going to be taking. So you haven't lost yourself, but I feel like there's something right in front of you. And because you're just focusing on what was and why something didn't happen sooner, or comparing yourself to someone else, very 4 of Cups energy, that there could be this lovely lotus blossom or cactus flower that's right there saying, hey, how about this? All right, so get busy. Now is the time. All right, let's focus on lost and found messages here. Center, the lovers. This is just like that flower. It's a very attractive sort of energy. So some of you could have lost yourself in love. Some of you could have given a lot of your time to other people because they love being around you. Caretaker, partner energy here, friendship energy. but we see someone that's completely wrapped up in the other person, right? The cool thing with this, though, is that you have a very attractive energy and you still have the potential to pull things into your life. What we see around that person, though, is some stress, some sleeplessness, maybe even you taking on more than you needed to, and just sort of unnecessary stress. So I think the important thing for you, remember when I was talking about remote controlling the airplane, a real airplane, not one of the drones. We can't do that for someone else. We have to let them, we can love them until, to the moon and back, but we can't stress about every little thing. Parents, I get it. When your kids are growing up, when they're 18 or when they go to college, you probably are losing sleep. If you are insecure in a relationship and you worry what your partner's doing or thinking, though, this is not right. We have to let go of some of that energy. For those of you that are worried about something, you may be a caretaker for someone who is in hospice or something like that. All we can do is be present. All we can do is love. All we can do is give them a lantern and kind of show them the path. We can't do everything for them. So this is saying your love was enough. It always was. And love yourself back, okay? So for those of you that got lost in the raptures of love, that was an Anita Baker song, wasn't it, Rapture? This is sort of what happened to you, is that you don't have to give so much. Give back a little bit to yourself. Focus also right now on stress management, quality of sleep, quantity of sleep, and realizing sometimes when you stress out about things, they're not as bad as you think they are, right? To me, the Nine of Swords can be very much something where we just create this sort of dark cloud. So let's not do that, okay? Seven of Wands, deep past, lost and found. All right, so people could have pushed you. Again, I'm getting this sort of, and we see the group mentality with this Seven of Wands, right? This is sort of like our spiritual tribe pushing us to do something. What's lacking in this one, normally you see it from the opposite perspective. So normally you would see a person holding the wand kind of like this and pushing back in the Rider-Waite-Smith illustration. Here we see what they're pushing back from, and it's basically this group saying, hey, let's do this, or come do this, or I want you, here or there or whatever. So you get to sort of say, hold on a second. Do I want to do that? If you want to, you've got some great support. If you don't have to do it. This is also a perfectionist and sometimes a control card, because you can always work smarter than the Seven of Wands. I want to see you either at 6 or 8. The 7 shows me that you're doing too much and that you're not delegating perhaps, and that you're spreading yourself a little too thin. So work smarter and don't let people push you to do something you don't want to do. So some of you got lost in the expectations of the group. And for that, again, the important thing is they like you. I feel like you have the capacity to, don't stress out about it. Just push back a little bit. All right. We have the Knight of Wands here in the recent past. One of the cool things that's coming through for you is that you have really great ideas, and probably are being underappreciated or undertitled in a job sometimes for the level of thoughtfulness that you have. Because based on all the stuff that I've been seeing today, I'd really like to see this as a queen or a king. But I want you to keep developing and taking that thought process and going to the next level, not being afraid to sort of step into a bit of a leadership role. Here's the good news here. Whenever I'm looking at a relationship spread or a possibility spread and I get the Ace of Cups and it's upright, it means good things. To me, this is telling me that you haven't lost yourself. I feel like you just have to give yourself the permission to be happy. Being happy is being whole. And when you are truly, like, if you love yourself enough to do something, if other people can't love that, then they're not loving you. They're projecting a wish upon you or something like that. So I want you to love yourself enough to just say, yeah, I'll do this. I have to do this. Whatever that is. There is a second chance at love for some of you, because we did get the Lovers at the center and we got the Ace of Cups. You didn't ask the question, but I'm giving you that answer, which is, if you're afraid, will I be appreciated? Will I be loved or accepted? You will, because everything around this is showing too much energy around that. Seven of Wands, Knight of Wands, Ace of Cups, and then we have the Lovers card here. But Seven of Wands is very close to success. It's just pushy. Sometimes people want even more, right? And so you have to tell them how much they can have. It's not an unlimited banquet, all of your time and energy. We have and I mention that because we have the King of Pentacles here, who the card is reversed, but this is someone who has a hard time saying no. When it is reversed, this is someone in your life that tends not to focus or ask how you're doing, focus on how you're doing. They are more focused on what they're getting from an equation. They're more focused on their own sort of trajectory. So I'm giving you encouragement to put some time and energy back in your own person, in your own path. And know that this is a wonderful card. When it's upright, it's the Midas touch. Everything you kind of like put your energy into, you see a return on it. Okay? But there's someone around you that's taking too much. So take back a little bit, reclaim a little bit with the King of Pentacles in reverse, and decide to put some of that back into training, learning, anything that you want to kind of do for expansion. It's totally okay. All right. Let's look at one of the biggest and most helpful cards that we can get. This is representing you. The reason that you've been lost, some of you, is that you're seeking validation from others. The Five of Pentacles we can trace back to youth. And often it is a parent that just didn't give us what we needed. Maybe they had a hard time expressing themselves emotionally. Maybe the words that they said tore us down instead of lifting us up. Maybe because they are so practical, they thought that if you did something that was counter to that practical approach, that you were not being a good son or daughter. You're fine. Everything here shows me you're fine. I see someone in your life that lacked vision and imagination, and therefore imprinted insecurity somewhere in your energy. So trace back to the past or trace back to your current environment and think, who is it around me that doesn't want me to do what I want to do, or doesn't support me, or just kind of isn't giving me the sort of same exchange that I'm giving to them. Love should be unconditional. This is very much conditional. It should be easy to spot who that is. It's coming through with divine masculine energy here with the King of Pentacles in reverse. So I think many of you have a mentor, father figure, boss, older brother type or something that just seems to want to take the center stage. This is why I think when we were looking at the momentum piece, that some of you are having a hard time stepping into the star energy, because someone else could get jealous of you shining. Should never be the case, as we've talked about before. There can always be two or more stars in a situation, okay? Don't sell yourself short. I think that this is oftentimes we take the validation, like just someone giving us some, positive reinforcement or something, but you might be lacking the resources. They're not giving you time, energy, or money for what you're doing as well. So that's not enough. A pat on the back isn't enough in some areas. So make sure that you're getting what you deserve as well, because this has a tendency to kind of like break us down and affect our health in the long run. All right. Hello, success. It keeps popping up. So clearly people like who you are, want to be around you a little bit more. I believe this is midsummer on this particular illustration, but I want you to be able to just focus on what others can see the potential, see the light that others see, and know that when you are happy, when you do you're going to be successful no matter what. So why not be successful on your own terms rather than vicariously living someone else's dream, or feeling like you have to meet up to someone else's expectations. Just really walk into the path of your own light. I think that's so important, okay? You're going to be fine. I feel really good about this. The thing with the Six of Wands, though, we talked about optics earlier with the bee. So again, with the optics in this, some of you are doing what is expected, what mom or dad or family wants you to do, or what others are expecting that it needs to be done. So this is saying there's more to that. You have to feel happy as well. You can't do it just to please. This is a pleasing card. This is the receipt of that sort of validation, but there's more than that. You are more than that too. So it should come from within. The light should come from within, which is why you had the star earlier. So it's time for death. It's time for change. It's time for transformation. So I love this one because it's kind of a playful card. And if I can get the camera to focus here, see he's carrying a skeleton key, appropriately enough. This is the doorway that I was talking about earlier. But in order for you to kind of get to that doorway, you have to let go of something. So when we're looking at lost and found, you never were lost. You always had the key, but there's something in your life that you need to lose to separate from in order to really feel strong, powerful, and to be able to get to the next level. So this is a breakup card, a divorce card, a quitting card, separation, just saying it's okay. I don't need you. I don't need that. And also maybe pulling off the facade and saying that wasn't me at the beginning anyway. So I'm now ready to truly step into who I have been, who I want to be, etc. And then we have the 9 of Wands card at the very end here, which is basically telling me that you have what it takes to finish. This is a survivor card. This is a really interesting sort of illustration of it. Typically with the 9 of Wands, you would see a person that is standing up with all of their kind of experiences represented by wands behind them. They have a little bandage around their forehead, and they're sitting there stalwart saying, I am not done. I am ready. I'm going to go down that path that is the 10 of Wands and get this finished, okay? So don't lose track of that because it's reversed. So some of you may be wondering here at the last leg of this journey, can I do it? Should I do it? Will I do it? Based on everything that I saw, you're already there, but you just have to sort of see it differently. Look from a different angle, look from a different perspective, okay? So the key piece that we're all afraid of is what if this is it? Because death came in the hopes and fears area. So it's not all that there is because we have the Ace of Cups. There's a new beginning. So my encouragement for you is to be able to just take a chance on you. I see second chances at love. I see, for many of you, a chance to gain more resources when you stand up for yourself. There's some self-confidence issues that are holding you back. And in that case, I think it is important to kind of like cut out that kind of energy in your life, right? One last time looking at these sort of key pieces on past, present, future, on finding yourself. Stop looking in the past. Start being more present. Understand that this is the moment. That's what that word is kind of signifying. And just like the bees, get busy. Get busy and start working right now. Now is the time. And you may have to go out on this path alone. And now I understand why this 9 of Wands doesn't have all the wands. This is kind of the pilgrim energy right here. So sometimes when we go out in search of what we want, what we trust, there may be a little bit of a hermit phase that some of you are entering into. But the hermit is the discoverer. That's the one where you may seem or feel like you're lost, but it's truly the advanced version of the fool, right? The fool is just kind of running around, let's see what happens. The hermit is very careful, very cautious, very, very introspective. And he's carrying the star and the lantern because he knows what the next step is. So I feel like many of you are the star in training. This is a hermit card as much as it is 9 of Wands. The pilgrim is the hermit as well. It's the wise fool. So you're a wise fool. Trust yourself. And as soon as you're ready to kind of like take off that cloak and come out of that lantern, I feel like things are going to be okay for you. Don't undersell yourself. People support you. Don't give too much to them. People will take as much as you're willing to give. Love yourself enough to say no. But I see a second chance at love, a new idea on the horizon, and probably walking down your own path, but a successful one at that, okay? So there you go. My wise fools, I feel good about what the future holds for you. And I don't think you're lost. I think that there's just some better resource management that can happen. And that's like the big takeaway from that. All right. So that brings us to the almost to the meditation portion. Just a couple of quick notes again. If you're brand new and you liked what you saw here, I do a lot of different types of readings. Hit the thumbs up. Definitely hit the bell icon because you'll be told about my polls whenever I do that, so you can vote on things. And subscribe if you've never done that before. It'll help my channel, and it will help you find me in the future because we all know the YouTube algorithm is kind of spotty at best. And again, if you want to find me on social media, I post reminders of what's coming through because I know that even when you opt into notifications, it doesn't always happen. So Facebook and Instagram, I'll use stories. I also put them here on YouTube as well. And thank you again to everybody showing support. I'll take a moment at the end to say thank you to everyone. All right, so let's take a look at the meditation today. So we covered 2 topics. And I'm going to let you vote on your favorite sort of topic for the meditation that you want me to focus on. So I can either do topic number 1, and I'll let you vote on these here, or topic number 2. Which one of these do you really want me to help you get through? So for the meditation, what do you want? And we'll put these through and you guys can decide what you want. There we go. We don't need any more options. Let's ask you. All right. Let's see if I can get this to work. Meditation. Or one I can just pick. All right, let's see if it works. For some reason, it's not coming out, so I may just do what I want to do on this one. So let me try one more time on this one. Do you want me to do how to get to the finish line or lost and found? Sometimes these don't work. All right, so it's not working. What I'm going to do today is try to combine the two, since the poll wouldn't work. So I actually see a little bit of similarity. When we're looking at lost and found, a lot of this had to do with self-confidence. When I'm looking at maintaining momentum, it had to do with taking action. So why don't we pull the two together? Why don't we take a combination of confidence and action? Okay, and so what I'm going to work on is healing the inner child for confidence, and then we're going to basically accept a helping hand for action. So let's get situated and then get ready for, at the end of this, a final question. So if I haven't answered yet one of your personal questions about business, work, relationships, etc., then hold it, and then after the meditation, I will answer that question, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, so focusing on healing the inner child. I want you to imagine that we're going to use a twilight meditation today. So see yourself at night, walking out, looking out at this sort of beautiful pier in front of you. So let's imagine you're at the ocean, and you're just standing there looking up at the stars. And as you look up at the stars, you get this feeling of familiarity, that you've been here before. It's like deja vu. And as you return your gaze to the water, you look into the water, you see your reflection, and there's a second face that's right there beside you, this very young child, a younger version of yourself. And as you reach out and touch the face of that child, you can see now the child in front of you. This is your inner child. This is you at whatever age you feel like you needed a little bit more love, a little bit more support. Imagine that you could sit with your hands on the shoulder of that younger child in a supportive, sort of loving embrace. And I want you to say to the younger version of yourself, we're going to be just fine. In fact, here's some things that I want you to be aware of. Tell the younger you the things that you need to hear, that you are loved, that you are valuable, that you can do whatever you put your mind to. And allow for that younger child to come in and just receive love from you, a nice loving hug. And let that younger child energy melt into your heart space. And imagine that just like the flower that I showed you earlier, you can see these sort of beams of light start to unfurl all around you. And imagine that you are like a lotus petal opening up. And from that center of the petal, from the center of this sort of beautiful blossom, imagine that your true form is revealed. The true you is there. And all you need to do now is to see and trust that, and imagine that that true form walks away from the flower towards the destination, towards whatever it is that you're trying to create in your life, that you're opening up a new portal. See yourself walking along the beach, see it going from night to day, and see this sort of gateway of light in front of you. And as we play the singing bowl here, I just want you to walk through that and know that you are loved, success awaits you, and you've already become that thing that you've always wanted to be. You just needed to see yourself and love yourself and close that chapter from the past. As you walk through the portal of light, you're left with a few beautiful messages. You are and always have been more than enough. You are not measured by material or financial wealth in your life. You're measured by your heart, your love, your satisfaction with your path, with your journey. And I want you to give yourself permission to be fully present and fulfilled, whatever path you choose, knowing that success is around you. It's been coming through in the cards left and right. So just be the star that you are and trust that everything is going to work out. All right, let's move along to your final question here. For the final question, I just want you to focus on something that matters. It can be anything that you would like, something that we haven't talked about so far. I'm going to pull a card and see what messages come through, and we'll see what needs to be discussed. And then at the end, I'm going to say thanks to those of you that have been kind enough to give back a little bit. So thank you, and welcome also to all the new members. All right, so just hold that thought in your mind. Let's take a look and see what the cards have to say. Wheel of Fortune, which would be an emphatic yes. The Wheel of Fortune is reversed, however, and in this particular Wheel of Fortune, we sort of see a spider-type deity, right? And the reminder here is that you weave your own fortune, your own fate. It's nobody else's to decide. It's nobody's business but your own. And I want you to see yourself as the cosmic spider right now. So instead of being caught up in other people's thoughts, fears, anxiety, their web, so to speak, you're going to create your own attractive magnetic energy. I actually love spider totems because I know you don't have to like the insect itself, although I do. They're a beneficial insect. But the web is great. It's the ultimate sort of like nature's magnet. They can catch all their food. They catch things even that they don't want, but it's very magnetic. So what we see for you is this attractive energy, but you have to see the value. The Wheel of Fortune was reversed. You might also have to change course or change direction. So you're nearly there, but there's a change of perspective, much like we saw in this card, was it? Time for a Quantum Leap, and it said, basically prepare for a makeover. So it's a cosmic makeover. If you can see it, you can do it, but if you can't, you've got to put on those metaphysical sort of binoculars or lenses to kind of help you see beyond what you're looking at right now. All right. I like it. It's a yes. Might be a new job, might be a new cycle. The Wheel of Fortune can also lead you on a new sort of annual cycle. So something over the next 10 months, 10 to 12 months. October is a good month as well. It's associated with 10, so October is great. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. I'm liking the new format. The only thing that I didn't do this week was blessings and blocks, just to kind of keep it under the time limit. So I may experiment with putting that in there next week, or have you vote if you want me to do elements or blessings and blocks. But I feel like we had the right balance of time and topics this month. So when it's on replay, let me know in the space below what you liked, what you'd like to see more of. And please, if you are a channel member, vote, because not everybody voted. So I try to put that out about a day before, and the best way to kind of just kind of check it the day before, and you should see the poll there. All right, let me see if I can do this. I've been able to do this the last couple of times, so I'm going to try to say thanks to those of you that have given back. One thing before I get into that, again, thank you to everybody that's been a part of this, especially my channel members. If you want to become a channel member, you can click the join button here, or you can join me on Patreon. That allows you to get in extra votes when I do any sort of polls. Also, I have a book that I've written. You can check out my website for more information on that. For now, I just want to say thank you to the folks that were here today and that were kind enough to give back a little bit, because you helped me do more of these. I've started to add in a couple of extra videos per month. So let's see here if I can get this. It looks like I can. All right. So for today, we had so many people that were kind enough to give back. I want to say thanks to Brenda Nelson, to looks like Lele, Orion 4848, Patrice, Trisha Wirt, Miss Vicky, Sarah Shed, Megan Greer, Frederick, Philippa rather, Joe Ellen, pardon me if I mispronounce any of these, Amber J, Ghostly Gola, 62 and Sunny, Nooch 196, Jean Hart, Jennifer Heaton, Stella Morris, Sarah, Mad Monica, Lauren 629, Christina Ambries, a novelista, Anita Confidence Kobina, looks like, Bonnie Cooperton, or Cooperian, I'm sorry, Feruza, again, Miss Vicky, thanks for giving twice, I appreciate it. Phoebe, Alona, et cetera, Janae, Luzli Rodriguez, Agnes, Lola, let's see, Vinutha, Megan, Kate, Evelyn De La Cruz, Javier Carrillo, The Homo's Journey, Jody Fraze, Shelly Cobb, Jody again, thank you, Jessie Lou, Gabby, Regina, Tony, Kathy, again, Philippa twice, and AB. I'm sure some people have done it since then. Stella, thank you so much. Welcome to Audrey. I think we had a few new channel members today as well. Again, you'll get a chance to vote. Let's see, it looks like Stella is new or rejoining. Yeah, Stella is new. Let's see who else I can see here. And for everybody that's sticking around, thank you. I just want to give acknowledgements here. There's some other channel members, and I know that my moderators have had a chance to say thank you. I'll be able to see it later. I do take a look at all the folks who have contributed and all the folks who have joined. Thank you. I will be live again this week. Let me take a look at the calendar. I believe we'll be starting again on Thursday. So I'll start up with Aries. I haven't announced the dates yet, but yeah, I'll be starting on Thursday and Friday of this week. So keep an eye out on my main channel page, and I will announce those shortly, probably by tomorrow. Hope everybody enjoyed today, has a great week ahead, a great month ahead. Like I said, this is a perfect time to catch up. All the videos for September are up. So enjoy, everyone. Thank you so much for being present. Thanks to Dakota and Maria for your help today. I hope everyone has a really great day. And let's see if Apollo can make a final showing at the end. Let's say hi to everybody. Apollo was sunbathing there. So much love from Apollo and I to you. Thanks for everything. Take care of yourselves, okay? All right.